presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
Last night's victory over the Braves had a little bit of everything. Speed kills. Oh, run, Billy, run. And did he last night? You needed a little help from your friends. The Reds flashing the leather defensively. And pitching strong last night. Finnegan with the start. And this bullpen perhaps turning the corner for the Reds. And oh, did they play long ball. A 3-home run inning en route to a series opening victory over the Braves. The Reds have won 3 out of 4 coming out of the All-Star break. They'd like to make it 4 of 5 tonight as we bring you game 2 of a 3-game set. The Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves coming up on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi again, everyone, alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley. I'm Jim Day. Thanks for joining us for Reds baseball. Last night was a fun game to watch, and no more fun than when number 6 gets on base and just wreaking havoc all over the baseball field.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch him, Jim, and we talk about it time and time again. When he gets on base, it seems to take the pitcher out of his game, the defense out of their game. It's almost as though everything moves into fast forward. Everybody starts to try to play like Billy Hamilton runs, and I don't know that that's possible. And there are times that you think, are these guys big leaguers trying to get Billy Hamilton out? That just shows you how much speed and how much talent he has when you can embarrass guys that are major league players. But that's what he's doing with his legs.
4th inning was a gem offensively for the Reds. Zach Kozar kicked it off, tied his career high with his 15th home run.
You know, it was a big home run. Even though there was nobody on base, it started that big 5-run rally. He got a breaking ball that was out over the plate. It really started to put some pressure on Matt Wisler, and then Hamilton getting on after that, it got ugly.
Coming up in the next segment, we're going to talk about the starter tonight, that being the lefty Cody Reed for the Reds. But we want to give props to the bullpen because they've been much maligned this season, but of late have been very, very good. In fact, riding a 13-inning scoreless streak, and particularly Raisel Iglesias. You said you could talk about this guy till the cows come home, right?
Jim, the thing about Iglesias is he has that understanding of pitching. And when I say pitching, I'm talking about the ability to keep the hitter off balance. There are times where he'll use the breaking ball outside, he'll use it inside, he'll drop down, he'll come over the top. There are times where he uses his fastball at sometimes upwards of 98 miles an hour, and then he'll dial it back to 92 to get extra movement on the pitch. He reads swings well, he competes well, and he looks so comfortable on the mound.
When we come back, the Cowboy will break down Cody Reed, the youngster looking for his first big league victory. It's the Reds and Braves coming up on your home for Reds baseball, Fox Sports Ohio.
Reds game is going to be another great night. It will be warm to start, though. Temperatures will be starting off in the mid-80s by the start of the game. We'll be falling into the lower 80s by the 7th inning, into the mid-70s, and hopefully we get a win again.
All right, the Reds have won 2 in a row and 3 of 4 to start this second half, and have got 3 very good starts from their pitchers. They've got a rookie, Cody Reed, going to the mound, and he is looking for his first win. There you see him warming up in the outfield. 5 starts this year. He's 0-4 with an .839 earned run average. The problem, the long ball. He's given up 9 home runs in just 24 innings. So, for more on Cody Reed, here is the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley.
Every pitcher has a chance to get their feet wet when they come to the big leagues. And right now for Cody Reed, he is neck deep. He is in it. Not only is he trying to pitch and pitch well, he's trying to keep his head above water at the big league level. What does Cody have to do? He's got to relax. He has plenty of stuff to be able to compete at the big league level, a great slider, a great fastball. All he's got to do is back off a little bit, understand, hey, I belong here. I understand I can do this. Just make pitches and get people out. Forget about the scouting report. Forget about all the notoriety of the hitters that come to the plate, and just be Cody Reed.
All right, well, thank you very much, Jeff. Let's hope he has a nice start tonight. Well, we have some very sad news from baseball's commissioner's office. Suzanne Hilgefort, Major League Baseball's Senior Director of Broadcasting Business Affairs, died on Saturday in a small plane crash, along with her husband, Michael. Suzanne had worked in the broadcasting department for over 20 years and was instrumental in the launch of the MLB network. To us in the Fox family, Hilgefort played a key role in the league's coordination of our baseball jewel events, the All-Star Game, playoffs, and World Series. Our prayers go out to her family and the families of her husband and friends.
Sports Ohio is brought to you by Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Another sunny, gorgeous night at Great American Ballpark as Cody Reed, the youngster, the lefty, strolls to the hill, and he'll face this lineup. Brian Snitker will line him up exactly the same way he did last night. Same starting 8, same order. Gordon Beckham, who you're looking at, will lead off. Adonis Garcia hitting second. Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis, Jeff Francoeur, 3, 4, and 5. Ender Inciarte in center field. Anthony Recker behind the plate. Eric Ibar at shortstop. And tonight's starting pitcher, Tyrell Jenkins. Cody Reed, it's been a struggle to start his major league career, Cowboy. What does he have to do to change that?
Well, I would like to see him get on top of the fastball and the breaking ball a little bit more, working a little more from second to home rather than the spinning from first to third. Looks like his hands dropped a little bit, and instead of getting that hard sinking action, the ball is moving flat as well as the slider. If he stays on top and gets comfortable early, should have an awfully good game.
He'll face Gordon Beckham to lead off, as we said, and Beckham hitless in his last 16 at bats, including an 0 for 5 last night. First pitch inside for a ball, and we are underway. Lance Barkdale calling balls and strike. Behind the plate, Angel Hernandez at first, Will Little at second, Ted Barrett, the crew chief, down at third. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. Lance Barksdale from Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes, he is.
I know someone else that hails from those parts. And he's sitting to my right. Two-one pitch. Up the middle. Diving try by Phillips to no avail. And Beckham snaps that 0 for 16 with a base hit to lead off this game.
Watch where this pitch comes to. Back to the middle of the plate. It's got good sinking action to it, but it's back in the middle of the plate, even though the pitch was down, and the ball centered up by Beckham.
Now Adonis Garcia, who had himself a night last night. 3 for 4, hit a home run, scored 2 runs. Right at Votto, and a diving catch and a double play. Got to have some help from your friends. They got it last night defensively, and right there with Joey Votto.
These are the types of things that really help a young pitcher. A couple of balls scalded, that one right at Votto. Votto makes a great diving catch, doubles off Beckham. And if you're on the mound and you're Cody Reed, you've got to be thinking to yourself, all right, I just got to get the ball in there.
Obviously got the out there, but perhaps saved a run as well, as that ball would have rattled around in the right field corner. So a big play early in this game, and now Freddie Freeman. Freeman last night 1 for 3, had a double and a walk. And that double snapped the streak. He struck out 9 straight times. Going back to the previous game with the Braves. He struck out the first 2 times to the plate last night. Don't want to wake up this guy. Line drive. Duvall fights off the sun. And again, the defense, Cody Reed's best friend so far. Reds coming to bat. And Zach Cozart, who started off that 4th inning last night, that 3-home-run inning with a home run, will lead it off again for Brian Price's squad. Hamilton will follow him. Votto, Bruce, and Duvall. 3, 4, and 5. Phillips back in there. Eugenio Suarez at third base. Ramon Cabrera is the batter he made tonight for Cody Reed. He'll hit 8th, and Reed will bat 9th. Making his 2nd big league start, Tyrell Jenkins.
Had a few games out of the bullpen, straight over the top, and an over the top curveball. Good sink on the fastball, good movement. Reds will have to get a good look at him the first time around.
First pitch to Cozart. Ball 1. Cozart 1 for 5 overall last night with that home run. Team leading 22 doubles on the season.
When you watch Jenkins pitch, he's not going to strike out a whole lot of batters. But what he tries to do and what he's been able to do in order to stay in the big leagues is induce weak contact and pop-ups.
Jenkins with the stirrups. I like it. 2 balls, 1 strike. Inside 3-1. Jenkins was acquired by the Braves along with Shelby Miller in the Jason Hayward deal back in 2014. Miller has since been dealt for Arizona's Ender Inciarte, who's in the lineup. And a move that's really hurt both teams so far, at least. Grounder down to Ibar. 1 out. Check out your 4 defensive lineup for the Braves. Francoeur, Inciarte, Markakis in the outfield. Garcia, Ibar, Beckham, Freeman around the infield. Recker behind the plate, catching Tyrell Jenkins.
It's been a while since I've seen both starting pitchers take the mound with glasses. Both of them have their glasses strapped around the back of their neck. Cody Reed, we've seen the goggles. We've not seen Tyrell Jenkins. He's got them strapped around the top of that hat.
Billy Hamilton, first pitch swinging, but right at the right fielder Markakis. And a quick 2 outs. Certainly a different style of goggles or glasses for Jenkins than Cody Reed. Jenkins moving to the starting rotation, replacing Joel De La Cruz, who we saw here out of the bullpen last night. Hoping for good things. Joey Votto, home run last night, part of that 3-home-run 4th. 3 RBIs, scored 2 runs. And that season average is at a season high 265, and here it is last night. Got all of it and more. His 15th home run of the season. A big inning for the Reds. Votto's heated up. Sitting safely in all 4 games since the All-Star break. 8 for 15. As I said, that average at 265 is a season high, and he's been steadily climbing. Three balls, 1 strike to the Reds' first baseman. Fouls it off. .262 hitter with full count, way above the league average. 3-2 pitch. Walked it. Votto continues as an on-base percentage machine. And now Jay Bruce.
Well, for some reason, Tyrell Jenkins has a difficult time throwing strikes to left-handed batters. You saw that last pitch to Votto. It was a fastball, and it really ran well off the outside corner. But yet when the righties came to the plate with Cozart, he was able to paint the outside corner.
Bruce, a .264 average, 18 home runs, and is tied for the team lead with Adam Duvall, 64 runs driven in. .294 hitter against the Braves. Jay 1 for 4 here last night. Hitters count 2-0. 2-1.
Seems like the Braves are set on making Jay Bruce hit a breaking ball. First pitch curveball in the dirt, second pitch changeup, had to come in with a fastball there.
3 balls, 1 strike. Jenkins nibbling a bit.
See how far that ball is moving off the plate. He starts that ball middle away. It's almost as though his sight line to the plate is a little bit skewed with a left-handed batter at the plate.
Comes the 3-1. Bruce, left center field, hit well. And that one is off the wall. No, it's gone. Home run, Jay Bruce, number 19, a 2-run shot, and the Reds take an early lead.
Maybe that's why they didn't want to throw him a fastball. Two-seam fastball. This one starts in and runs right back middle away, right into the bat head for Jay Bruce. That's one of the things we've seen from Bruce throughout this season so far, the ability to drive the ball the other way when pitched that way.
First pitch to Adam Duvall, called strike 1. Bruce takes over the team lead for RBIs now with 66 of them. Now I see what everyone talks about, that bright background back there, because that ball was tough to see going out of the yard. Right into that sun in left center field.
Yeah, I thought it was heading towards that wall just to the left of the bullpen door. Got another, it's like about 2.5, 3 feet there that jump up right as you pass that door out in left center field.
Nonetheless, the Reds will take it. They're hitting 3 home runs last night. No, a home run here in the first and a 2-0 lead. One-two pitch.
Thing for a hitter that you look for early in a ball game. Can the opposing pitcher get a breaking ball or a changeup over the plate? If not, I'm sitting fastball.
Jenkins has run the count full to Duvall. Duvall, one of 5 players in the major leagues with at least 21 doubles, 23 home runs, and 64 runs driven in. And he walks him. Second walk of the inning. Give it up by Tyrell Jenkins. So a tough start for the youngster Jenkins.
Anthony Recker had called for a 3-2 changeup there, and Jenkins shook him off. Jenkins has yet to throw a changeup or a breaking ball for a strike in this inning.
And now Brandon Phillips, who left last night's game early, but it was not because of incident. It was simply because the Reds had a lead. He's been nursing a strained calf, which he missed 2 games with. And they just felt it was a good time to get him out of the game and give him a spell in the late innings last night. But back in there tonight and riding a 7-game hitting streak. Brandon would love to get in on this home run parade.
Don't you know it?
Because it's been a minute. In fact, a few minutes. Phillips hasn't homered in 57 games. 225 at bats. It is the longest homerless streak of his career. A 1-0 to Brandon.
What's incredible about that streak, Jim, is that he had 5 home runs in 4 games before that streak started, and then hasn't hit one since. But he was on an absolute tear.
Two-0. Chopper for the short play. But the Reds get 2 off the bat of Jay Bruce. Lead this one early, 2-0 over the Braves. Up for the Reds. In left, it's Adam Duvall. Center field, Billy Hamilton covering a ton of ground. Jay Bruce in right. Suarez, Cozart, Phillips, Votto around the infield. And a new battery mate tonight for Cody Reed. Ramon Cabrera catching him for the first time. Perhaps changing the luck a little bit. At least changing the look. Cody Reed. Worked out well in the first inning, albeit the Braves hard hit balls. Solid defense behind Cody. Got him through the first, and now he's dealing with Nick Markakis. 255 hitter, 5 home runs, a team leading 47 runs driven in. He was 2 for 4 here last night. And Markakis, and I did not know this, he was drafted in the 35th round in 2001 by the Reds, but did not sign. He was later taken by the Orioles first round in 2003, and here delivers a base hit to center. So the Braves continue to hit the ball hard early off of Cody Reed.
Like a slider that was overthrown. Talk about velocity. Well, there's sometimes you can throw through your sinker or through your slider. You throw it too hard or you grip it too tight, and instead of the ball having that late bite, it tends to straighten out because you're overthrowing it.
After Reed's last start, he admitted when he was talking to the press and talking to us on the side that he thinks he's overthrowing. I want to know, how hard is it to back off when you can throw hard and you've made a living throwing hard? You got to the big leagues by throwing hard. How difficult is it to back off?
Well, it's not the trying to throw hard. It's trying to throw max effort on every pitch. And when your heart's beating fast, and I mean, there's a lot of young kids on this club, especially in the pitching staff. And when they get out there, they're trying to prove that they belong here. And your initial reaction is that fight or flight response. I mean, you cannot help it. Your heart's beating fast, your adrenaline's going. You almost can't even feel the ball come out of your hands sometimes. That's why once Reed gets settled in a little bit and he feels a little bit more comfortable in this space, I think he will be fine. But only time is going to tell in that category.
Well, he's facing a Braves team that has struggled overall versus lefties. Just a .241 average as a team versus left-handed pitching. That's the 4th lowest in baseball. But this guy at the plate isn't one of them. He's a .305 hitter versus left-handed pitching this season. That's the 2nd best mark on this Braves team. 2-2 pitch.
Better slider there. The thing that you have to read as a pitcher, especially early in the ball game, what are your pitches doing? And you can see the slider coming out of the hand. You really see the fingers there a little bit flat. And when your fingers are flat, you get underneath the baseball instead of through the baseball.
Got Francoeur to chase. Strikeout number 1 on the night for Reed.
Good sequence of pitching there. He came hard in, and then he goes down and away with a little bit of sink on the fastball. Even the best of the best hitters can't hit both sides of the plate.
Now Ender Inciarte, the center fielder for the Braves. In spring training, Cody Reed, I'm not sure it was close. He was the best pitcher in spring training. In fact, Brian Price has said that many times. He was the best pitcher on this squad. And his slider had some downward movement. How does it change in half a season?
I think part of it is mechanical differences. And you could see with that slider to Francoeur, you could see the fingers getting underneath the baseball instead of on top and driving it through. The only way to make the ball go down is to be on top of the ball and drive down and through the ball. But when that front shoulder flies out, your hand gets way away from your head, and you can see Reed's hand. It is way out there. The hitters see that as well. They can pick it up a lot earlier.
And when you get up to this level, it can wake you up quickly. The hitters up here can see it a split second earlier. All the difference in the world. And Cody Reed has found that out the hard way. 1-1 pitch.
More on top with that pitch there. But you see Reed as he comes to the plate. More on top with that pitch than he was on the previous ones. Better slider there. A lot of times you have to read that as a pitcher. Nobody can just come running out there and say, hey, your hand's not up, you're not quite where you need to be. You have to be able to feel that as a pitcher. But going back to what we were talking about earlier, when your heart's racing and you're thinking, here I am in the big leagues, all these people watching me, I've got to get somebody out.
Off the glove of Suarez to Cozart, and no play. The struggles continue down at the hot corner for Eugenio Suarez. That is air number 16 of the season. In the big leagues, that should be a routine play.
It's all about footwork. You could see the feet of Suarez stop as he reached for that baseball instead of continuing towards the line to get in front of it and get the ball. He tried to catch it too quickly and ends up kicking it off the end of the glove.
And in fairness, the footwork at shortstop and third base is night and day. Yes. Particularly where you play in the field, obviously you're closer to the batter. It is, you can't even really compare them. And it's, some guys can make the transition, some can't. So far, Eugenio has struggled at times. And it's not because of lack of hard work, because he is out there nearly every day early taking ground balls. I mean every day.
Anytime you have a position change, there's going to be an adjustment period. Just hope the kid can figure it out.
And who knows, his future on this Reds team might not be at third base. We'll see. Right now it is, with the departure in the offseason of Todd Frazier. Reed walks Anthony Recker. And now trouble brewing. Bases loaded, 1 out. The 8th batter, Eric Ibar, will step in. Ibar has struggled overall, 206 average. Just 1 home run, 14 runs driven in. And over his last 9 games, Ibar just 2 for 30. That is an .067 clip, including 0 for 4 last night. But a hard hit ball off of Reed into right field. 1 run is going to score. Bruce has trouble with the handle, and now a 2nd run comes to the plate. So the Reds defense, which was good last night, so far just the opposite. Credit Ibar with a base hit and an RBI and an E9, allowing that 2nd runner to score. Brand new ball game early on, 2-2. Pitcher Tyrell Jenkins squares around a bunt, pulls it back. First and second now, 1 out. Jenkins trying to move up the runners. Nearly caught that ball.
When you're on the mound and that ball comes back at you, even when it's just a soft one, you just hope it hits in your glove. More times than not, you just see a haze of a ball coming that way.
Strike call. It's Jenkins once again pulls it back and pays for it this time. He's going to square around with 2 strikes. Fouls it off. And a strikeout for Cody Reed. 2 down. Now back to the top of the order, and Gordon Beckham led off this game with a single. Beckham snapped an 0 for 16. Check swing, called strike by Lance Barksdale.
Much better slider there. That had some downward movement and some late break.
Pitch number 26 of the inning from Reed. It's fouled off. Cody threw only 9 in inning number 1. One-two pitch. Trying to limit the damage.
You can see Reed really trying to force that slider, and that's his best pitch, even though he's got a mid-90s fastball. But again, you see him get underneath that ball, and he pulls it all the way in underneath the right-handed batter's feet. He almost caught the back foot of Beckham.
In the air, right side. Bruce coming on. Fair territory. He's got it for the 3rd out. But the Braves tie it up at 2 here at Great American. Elk, and we want to focus on the Reds bullpen since the All-Star break. 16 innings pitched, 9 hits, 1 earned run over the last 13 innings, scoreless. With the additions of that guy Michael Lorenzen, Marcel Iglesias, and others like Blake Wood who have turned the corner, the Reds are suddenly getting production from their pen.
You're not going to win without a consistent bullpen. The Reds have started to turn the corner a little bit there. It's amazing what a couple of consistent guys can do for you down there.
Yep. Eugenio Suarez leading off the bottom of the 2nd for Cincinnati. last night gave himself a birthday present. A home run on birthday number 25. I'm sure he's up there wanting to make up for that error committed in the last inning. Into the right field corner. That's a fair ball. And Suarez with a leadoff double.
That's an awfully good swing by Eugenio Suarez there. That's paying attention from the dugout, knowing that this pitcher is going to stay away from me. And watch him. He goes out and gets this ball and drives it down the right field line. If you try to pull that, you're going to pop it up or hit a weak ground ball to second base.
Not as big a leg kick with that front leg for Eugenio. Much easier to time as a hitter. You don't have that giant leg kick, and that's one thing they've been working on with him all season long.
Got to get that foot down. Can't swing with one leg in the air. At least not with any authority.
Ramon Cabrera batting 8th tonight. Did not play in last night's ball game. Suarez out in second. At least for the time being, makes up a little bit for that error. By the way, those 2 runs off of Cody Reed, both unearned. Tyrell Jenkins on the hill. What a good athlete this guy is. As he delivers the 1-1 to Cabrera. Dribbler in front of the plate. Jenkins makes the play, and Suarez has to stay at second base. 1 out. And now Cody Reed. Jenkins was a 4-sport star at Henderson High in East Texas. He accepted a full ride to Baylor in 2010 as a quarterback. He actually attended fall drills, and he was a backup to Robert Griffin III before signing a $1.3 million deal with the Cardinals, who had drafted him that June. And he and Robert Griffin III have remained friends. RG3 getting ready to try his luck with the Cleveland Browns as they're about ready to open up training camp up in Berea.
Yeah, and you know, if you follow football at all, that fall drills start well before the school year begins.
Yep.
Once you have registered and attended your first day of classes, you're no longer eligible to sign.
Fall football camp is no fun. I mean, they call it fall, but it's summer.
2-a-days.
So in a way, he earned that $1.3 million signing. And this just in. It's pretty hot in August in Dallas. Follow Cincinnati Reds baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day live video, highlights, statcasts, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Reed goes down swinging. Cozart, the Reds' last chance. They hope it's not their last chance, but with 2 outs, Suarez at second base.
2-out RBI is tough to come by. Cozart will be the first Reds batter that has seen Jenkins for the 2nd time.
Last night delivered his 15th home run of the season in his 2nd at bat. That ties a career high. Oh, this time Cozart. In 2012 was his previous career high with home runs. He did it in 561 at bats. Last night's home run, just 323 at bats.
Not only has Cozart hitting the ball out of the ballpark, but he's spraying the ball around the field. And that makes him a much more difficult more difficult hitter to pitch to when you can shoot the ball to right field every once in a while.
Lays off an inside pitch at 93. Suarez takes his lead from second. No one holding him on. He's got a pretty good lead out there. Two balls, two strikes. Jenkins got what he wants. Nope. Looks back at Cozart. Excuse me, Suarez. Again, no one holding Eugenio on second base.
They have not even made a move, neither Beckham nor Ibar towards second base.
Big lead again. Cozart lays off one upstairs. And the count's gone full. Billy Hamilton on deck. Here comes the 3-2. Cozart pulls it foul. Three balls, two strikes, two outs. Hard hit ball, but right at the shortstop eyeball. For the third out. Brett Strandeman tied at 2. Toyota sign during tonight's game. Tim Olson from New Richmond, Ohio will win this Tundra on display at Great American Ballpark. You can register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. All right, let's see if Cody Reed can settle in here. Top of the third, we're tied at 2. 2 runs he gave up in the second were unearned, albeit Braves have hit some hard balls off of him. He's facing Adonis Garcia, who lined out Lined into a double play in the first, and it was a ball blistered at Joey Votto, who made a nice dive and catch and was able to turn the double play.
Three straight sliders to Garcia, all on the inside part of the plate.
1-1. Ground ball. Cozart to his left. Out number one. We'd like to wish a happy 100th birthday tomorrow to Amos Davis there in Piqua, Ohio. Amos.
That's what I'm talking about.
Happy early birthday. You know what? When you turn 100, you might as well celebrate 2 days. So Amos, we hope you're celebrating tonight and tomorrow. Happy 100th. Thank you for being a Reds fan.
I'll be celebrating every day.
Yes.
Give me a convertible and just float on around. Be looking good.
I might mess your hair up a little bit, though, convertible.
Hey, if you're 100, you don't care about your hair.
I'm talking about you.
If I'm 100, I ain't gonna care about my hair. I can tell you that right now. I'm not gonna have any.
Well, you worry about it now. You're looking good.
I'm not worried about it. It just is what it is.
Freeman. Oh, another nice stop by Joey Votto.
Nice play by Votto. That ball was scalded heading for the corner. That's two doubles now that Votto has saved in this ball game on defensive plays. I mean, this is a dive backwards, a top spin ball. Once that ball hits the ground, it just takes off. Votto actually has to catch it behind the glove. Check him out here. This ball is behind him as he makes the catch. Tough play, and Votto comes up on the positive end.
Cody Reed can settle in here, and the Reds can win this game. You can look back at that play and the play in the first on Adonis Garcia as game changers, even though it's 2-2 right now. The bearded one, Nick Markakis. Singled in the second. Led off the second with that single and scored on Eric Ibar's single. Cody Reed this time gloves it and makes the play, and a 1-2-3 third for the youngster Cody Reed. 8th through the 14th as a major golf championship returns to Scioto Country Club in Columbus, a course that Jack grew up on. For more information and to purchase tickets, go to 2016USSeniorOpen.com. Look forward to that. That course ate me alive, like many courses did. Tyrell Jenkins versus Billy Hamilton to lead off the bottom of the third for Cincinnati. Hamilton flying out to right in one pitch in his first at bat. What a night Billy had last night. 3 for 5, 3 stolen bases. 9th time in his career he's done that, and 2 runs scored. He and Joey Votto were the difference makers last night. Two balls, 1 strike. Three and 1. Last thing in the world Jenkins wants to do is get Hamilton on first base here to lead off the third.
Lightning in a bottle.
3-1 pitch in the air. Exactly what you don't want from Billy Hamilton, but this time it's a fly out to center following a fly out to right. 1 out. It's Joey Votto. Walked and scored back in the first. And since June 1st, his on-base percentage is up near .480. Since 1961, when you look at career on-base percentage, Barry Bonds far and away the lead, .444. Behind him, this guy right here, Joey Votto, since 1961. Frank Thomas third on that list at .419. Pretty good company. Even though at times you walk a lot, people want you to swing the bat. Frank Thomas heard a lot of that in his career.
Big Frank. A lot of people talked about the big hurt. Walking too much. Big fella, you need to swing the bat.
Joey's heard the same rumblings throughout his career. The 3-1 pitch. Back-to-back walks for Votto. The third walk of the night given up by Jenkins. Check out our IGS bringing the energy. Most times driving in a teammate in the National League this season, and that is updated with Bruce driving in Votto with a home run, the 2-run job back in the first. Only Goldschmidt and Segura have more. Bruce and Votto, who are very, very good friends off the field, working in tandem on it as well. One ball, 1 strike. It was an opposite field home run back in the first.
Jenkins got behind Bruce, had to come in with a fastball, and Bruce hammered it. He's behind him again here in this at bat.
Hitters count again. 2-1. Here it comes. Dialed it back to 82.
For a changeup.
Next pitch, Tyrell Jenkins. Throw over to Votto. Votto 6 for 7 in stolen base attempts this season. Two. Got him. Second strikeout of the game for Tyrell Jenkins. 2 outs in the inning.
Backup breaking ball. Instead of going down and in to Bruce, you can see the spin on the ball. It just continues to move away. Bruce is thinking that ball is going to come towards him, and it backs up the other way.
Law fouls off the first pitch.
Duvall saw a pretty good bit of pitches in his first at bat when he drew the 2-out walk after the home run by Bruce. So he should be familiar with whatever Jenkins has to offer.
Hitting.
Got him on the wrist, looked like. Right on the top of the hand.
So first got him right up. That curvature of that arm. Yeah.
But you got him on the wrist. Maybe I was right the first time. Either way, that hurt.
Taking first base the hard way. But it does put Votto in scoring position. First and second, 2 outs for Brandon Phillips. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the first. Trying to extend his hitting streak to 8 games. He's blocked by Recker.
Jenkins is trying to pitch backwards. He's trying to use changeups and breaking balls early and then surprise the hitter with the fastball late. But when you don't have command of the off-speed stuff, you get behind in the count quickly.
Not a good ratio. 34 balls, 27 strikes. Tyrell Jenkins. Phillips didn't like that call from Lance Barksdale.
That's the pitch there, Jim, that if baseball ever went to an automated umpiring system, that's the pitch that would be a killer for batters. That pitch up around the hands, very difficult to hit. Doesn't get called as much now, but it would if you had an automated strike zone.
Jenkins will tag Phillips, and the Reds strand 2 in the third. Still tied at 2 at GABP. spectacular ticket offer for you to see the Reds. You can get view level tickets for every game this weekend against Arizona for just $10. Go to Reds.com/FSOhio and use the code FSOhio to get your tickets now.
For just $10, huh?
$10. Come on out. Cody Reed facing Jeff Francoeur. He struck out Francoeur his first time up. Reed trying to better his 8.39 ERA coming in. It has been a tough start to his major league career for him. He came in with a lot of hype. Spruce coming a long way to get it, and then foul ground, makes the catch.
Bruce knowing exactly where the wall is and where the escaping bat boy was running to in the same frame.
Yep. Now, Cody Reed is certainly not the only pitcher that has struggled to start his major league career. Now we hope he can turn it around. And let me give you some examples. Curt Schilling, first 5 starts of his career, 10.59 ERA. Tom Glavine, 1-3 record, 7 ERA. Bronson Arroyo, 8.75 ERA, first 5 starts. Homer Bailey, look no farther than Homer, over an 8 ERA. Gio Gonzalez, 7.25 ERA in his first 5 starts. And the list could go on and on of guys that have struggled early on in their career and have turned it around. And not saying we are putting him in the category of any of those aforementioned pitchers. He's got to earn it. Did come to the big leagues with a tremendous amount of hype after being one of the 3 lefties that came from Kansas City in the Johnny Cueto deal, along with John Lamb, Brandon Finnegan. And he just gave up an easy walk to Ender Inciarte, and Inciarte didn't look like he had an interest at all in swinging the bat. And why not when he's not throwing it over the plate? Second walk of the game for Cody Reed.
I think you want to make a crisp and effective pitch with every pitch. But I think for a lot of young pitchers, if you're throwing the ball at 100%, it's going to be awfully difficult to hit that spot. And I think you have to have a game plan. Every pitch has to have a purpose to set up the following pitch. It's real easy to say, but when your heart's beating out of your chest, it's a whole lot tougher to do.
Well, he has admitted, he hasn't used the word nervous, but he's used the word anxious.
Yeah.
I'm too anxious on the mound.
You hear the term slow the game down in any sport. Slowing the game down allows you to breathe a little bit, allows you to calm your nerves, and it allows you to think a little bit.
That is exactly what Brian Price was talking about before the game, that this game is just right now sped up for him. What he's faced at the minor league level, which is for everyone.
Yeah,
but in Cody's case, it's really sped up.
And when you're good, and Cody Reed is good. I mean, he's got a chance to be a #1 or a #2 starter. But when you come up with a lot of hype, you feel like, okay, I've got to fill that void. And I've got to come in and show these guys what I can do at the big league level. And with that mentality, you forget about pitching and you're just out there trying to throw. You're trying to throw a radar gun fastball and a slider that snaps off the table. Not every pitch is going to be that way.
And he's given up a lot of home runs, and as much as you try to fight that off, you tell me, he gets in your head, does it not?
There's no doubt about it. You could see this fastball up and away. And again, Reed's hand underneath the ball instead of on top of the ball, driving it to the plate.
One pitch, right field. Bruce going back. Out number 2. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to our Miller Time moment later in tonight's game. It's brought to you by Miller Lite.
You know, you try to tell every pitcher, when you bring up that front knee, you want to have your sternum over your pivot foot, over that back foot, your drive foot to the plate, because it allows you to stay back a little bit, gives your arm a chance to catch up and drive the ball to the plate. When you jump to the plate, you get under the ball and you feel like you have no control. You feel like everything is out of sync and you're trying to figure out, all right, I know how to throw, but it's not going where I'm aiming. It's all about mechanics and slowing that body down a little bit.
Where's that work come? Side sessions in the bullpen? You looking at video?
Experience. I think that's one of the reasons Brian Price was talking about leaving this kid here. Let him take his lumps. Let him figure it out.
Seemingly he is here because, and they don't do this with everyone,
No.
but Cody Reed has moved here. Some young players will come up and they'll stay in a hotel. They'll stay in temporary housing or wherever. He has a residence here in Cincinnati. They have told him, you are going to be here. You have done everything we need you to do at AAA. So whether he takes his lumps or whether he reaches an innings limit for the foreseeable future, barring injury.
Well, the only way you're going to be a better pitcher in 2017 is to figure it out in 2016. And the only way you can figure out how to be successful at the big league level is to get out there. The problem that comes in is when you get to this level and you make a pitch that you think is a great pitch and they hit it out of the ballpark, all of a sudden it affects your confidence a little bit. It affects your confidence a whole lot. So then you start to wonder, okay, am I doing what I'm supposed to do? And you start to get out of what your comfort zone is. And then you start trying harder. You try to throw the ball faster. The ball doesn't move as much. The breaking ball doesn't slide as much. 90% rather than 100.
2-2 pitch. Runner goes. Fouled off.
And the reason I say 90% instead of 100, for young pitchers, the adrenaline is the last 10%. So if you can just get to 90%, give me some reach out to the plate, your adrenaline will take care of the rest of it.
Do the 2-2 again. Runner going again. Throw down from Cabrera. Not in time. In fact, it goes into center field. But Hamilton, per usual, right there to back it up. Stolen base number 12 on the season for Ender Inciarte.
On a great pitch to throw on, a slider down and in. And you could see the batter, Ibar, falling over the plate, trying to jackknife out of the way of the pitch that was down and in.
Beg your pardon, that's steal number 10 on the season for Inciarte. He's in scoring position. The 3-2 pitch on the way. Grounder up the middle. Phillips, barehanded play, and Votto off the base, can't make the tag. That is a ball perhaps Phillips should have let Cozart field. We'll check it out on the replay. Cozart was there, and coming from the left side obviously has a better angle for the throw. That would have been tough either way.
Yeah, it seems like Phillips made the play relatively easy, even though he had to barehand it. The ball just sailed on him as he threw the ball to first base.
It's an infield single for Ibar. First and third, and now the pitcher. First pitch swinging. This time Phillips an easy play. Cody Reed gets out of it. Braves strand 2, and we're tied at 2.
Reds and the Braves tied at 2. Tonight's greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Last night, Amir Garrett, he got the win in Louisville. 6 innings, no earned, no walks, 5 strikeouts in that game. This season, 7-4, the 186 at AA and AAA. Curry Mia, last night he got the win in High A Dayton, 6 innings, 1 earned run. He is now 7-6 with a 319. And Jesse Winker, pretty good night last night, 3 for 3, got that average up to 293, and the on-base percentage at 388. The Reds also got some bad news today. John Moscott had to undergo Tommy John surgery to repair the ulnar collateral ligament in his right elbow. He will miss, obviously, the rest of this season. And it was announced today by Brian Price. We've been wondering what is going to happen on Friday. Well, we got our answer today, boys. Dan Straley will pitch on Friday. No word yet who the starter will be on Saturday. Back up to you guys.
Brian Price has a dry erase board in his office, and it lists the upcoming starting pitching matchups. And since they didn't know who was going to be the pitcher, in jest, they listed the starters as Gary Nolan, Don Gullett, and Jack Billingham for this weekend. And I believe they listed like Schilling, Randy Johnson, and another high-profile pitcher,
Pedro.
Brandon Webb, I think it was. In jest, which would be quite the matchup, by the way. But I imagine Nolan, Gullett, and Billingham would be on pitch limits here in 2016. Although you never know, Don Gullett was such a good athlete, he might still be able to bring it. Who knows? Cactus Jack. Brian Price did talk about a lot of decision making going into the starts after Friday, after Straley goes. And one of them is going to be Brandon Finnegan. He did say that, whether it be on Saturday or Sunday. But they're looking long term, the rest of the season. And one of the variables is Homer Bailey. He's going to start on the 20th, tomorrow. And then it's a wait and see. Now, when Homer comes back, they want to have a spot in that rotation and not mess up the rest of the guys' rest.
Well, they've got 3 different off days.
Right.
When you start on Thursday with that off day, that counts as the first off day. Within the next 12 days, they've got 3 off days.
So they are considering skipping over the spot. Yeah, skipping over the spot. Moving someone in like a Robert Stevenson, perhaps, even though he didn't mention Robert Stevenson by name. He has talked about Tim Adelman, perhaps. He has mentioned Kivas Sampson, perhaps getting a spot start. Or, as I said, just skipping over the spot with the off days. But they're trying to figure out long term what the rotation is going to be, how they want to line them up going into August, going into September, and looking at guys' innings and where are you going to cut them off on an innings limit. So there's a lot of variables going in, and not just the decision on Saturday or Sunday, but long term. Three balls, two strikes to Eugenio Suarez, who doubled back in the second. Base hit. Eugenio, 2 for 2.
It's what happens when you stay in one place too long and you make a mistake out over the plate, which is exactly what Tyrell Jenkins did there. Kept coming in. You make perfect pitches, you get foul balls or swings and misses, but you miss out over the plate. Suarez is used to the ball inside. He never went away because of the ball he hit down the right field line, and he smoked that one.
Owen Cabrera will take his second at bat. Suarez at first.
Tyrell Jenkins has got to be thinking right now, this guy's hitting 225. I threw him a fastball away. He hit it down the right field line. I came in on him and he pulls it into left field. What have I got to throw him? It's not always about the pitch that you throw that gets hit. It's what you threw the pitch before and maybe the 2 pitches before.
Continue to be fascinated with the thinking part of pitching, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love just sitting back and not saying a word and just listening to guys that pitched in the major leagues and had success, and how they set up hitters with pitch sequence. Fly ball center field, first out of the bottom of the 4th. Again, I'll go back to the conversation a couple of days ago. You and Tom Browning sitting up here talking about keeping hitters off balance.
Well, the hitters will tell you what they're looking for or what they're expecting by their body language. It's up to you as a pitcher to recognize that.
And that seems to be a lost art form, or you just don't hear about it enough nowadays. And the more and more I hear other people talk about you, Jeff Brantley, as Cody Reed gets the bunt down, they're going to go to second base and they get the out.
Well, that was a pretty good bunt, an outstanding play by Adonis Garcia.
So Reed gets it down with a 5-6 put out at second base.
Nice bunt by Reed, but Garcia on that in a hurry.
Reed hustling down the line, beat out the double play, and it gives Zach Cozart a chance for 2 outs. Lazy swing and a lazy pop up. Going out to get it is Beckham. We're through 4 at Great American.
your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, changing the outcome together. 2-2 is your score here, top of the 5th inning. Braves and the Reds. Cody Reed has pitched fairly well for himself. 2 unearned runs. A couple of errors on the Reds, and that's where we stand, 2-2. So Cody Reed starting to settle in. The good thing you see here, no home runs, and he's kept within himself. Gentlemen.
Well, he'll adjust those goggles and move onward, and he will face the top of the order in Gordon Beckham. And if you don't know the story on the goggles, because not everyone watches every game, I'll tell you again. Freshman year in high school, he couldn't see the catcher laying down the signs. So his mom made him go to the eye doctor. Figured out they needed glasses. Said, "Mom, I'm not going to wear those. They're going to make fun of me. I'm going to look like a dork on the field." He didn't wear them the rest of his freshman year. Mom won the battle. Sophomore year, he puts them on and pitches very, very well. Mom knows best. And those goggles are the exact same ones that he wore in high school. He's that superstitious about them.
Once you find something as a player when you're in a stressful moment and it works for you, you stay with it.
Yep. The weird thing is, though, he only wears them while pitching. Beckham drives one the other way. Bruce will go back to the edge of the track and get it for out number 1. He only wears, he puts them on right before he starts to warm up in the bullpen. Takes them off after the game, doesn't wear them off the field. So you will see him like Bronson Arroyo used to do. You used to see Bronson squinting all the time.
I could never see the signs.
You couldn't see the signs?
Not a lick. We had to use the catcher's mitt. When it was down, it was a breaking ball. When it's set up normal, it was a fastball. And if he rubbed the dirt, it was a split finger. And he was steadily giving signs back there with his fingers. I couldn't see a one of them.
Why didn't you go get your eyes?
Well, I did. But I could see fine during the day and to drive and at nighttime. I just couldn't see the fingers when they put them down. There's a little bit of a shadow back there on the catchers behind the plate. And I tried the Oakley glasses. I wore prescription sunglasses basically. But they would fog up. And if you're not used to having something on your face and you're trying to compete, it's uncomfortable. They ended up on the wall at the Astrodome after a 3-run inning.
Another sky ball into right. Bruce again on the edge of the track. 2 outs in the 5th. Couldn't see the signs. I can't believe he pitched that effectively. Make Great American Ballpark your family day destination this Sunday. Get half-price Reds tickets and enjoy a faith concert afterwards featuring Mercy Me. It's presented by Prasco. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com.
It's not always about the seeing when you're pitching. It's about muscle memory and repeating your delivery.
I guess. I mean, that's proof positive of muscle memory if you cannot clearly see the signs or the batter or home
definitely
plate.
Could not see. There were more than one catcher that I hit in the throat. They put down a 1 or they put down a 2 and I thought it was a 1. They slid for a slider and that fastball hit him right in the neck.
Goodness.
Not real happy with the old boy.
Well, Reed has those goggles with the long, I guess I'm calling it tail on the back. He gets Freddie Freeman.
Somebody's getting comfortable.
Strikeout number 3 for Cody Reed. We're off to the bottom of the 5th.
Sports Ohio. Make sure to stick around for the Reds Live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda, and get a complete recap and interviews from the clubhouse and much, much more. Reds Live, the postgame edition, right after the game. Today at batting practice, that guy with his back to you might remember him if he had a number on his back. Adam Pac-Man Jones, number 24 of the Bengals. Defensive back, kick returner. Good one. Billy Hamilton, you see right there, he was talking with Joey Votto, and Jay Bruce gave him a bat, said he played shortstop as a teenager. One of his favorite players, Billy, came out, talked to him a little bit about football, and got himself a Billy Hamilton baseball bat, gentlemen.
I would like to see Billy Hamilton on a fly pattern and see if Pac-Man can keep up with him. We need to arrange that.
Pac-Man would bump him off the line.
Probably would.
Oh,
Hamilton just foul.
That was within inches of having some serious action.
Business would have picked up.
Hamilton down the right field line. Oh boy. Came inside with a changeup. Billy got out just a little bit in front.
1-2 pitch from Jenkins. Right back at Jenkins. Billy 0 for 3 on the night.
Now those pitches were in the same spot. One of them was 81 miles an hour. One of them was 92. You get a guy to pull your changeup like that, you come back in with a fastball that's got a little extra giddy up to it. Billy just hits it right off the hands.
Votto digging in for the 3rd time. Jenkins has walked him in his first 2 plate appearances. Votto scored back in the first one. Jay Bruce sent one out left center field for a 2-run home run. By the way, getting back to that dry erase board of those pitchers matchups, and Joe Luckham was trying to tell me this, and I couldn't understand what he was saying. Mel Stottlemyre was the other pitcher for Arizona. So they had Gullett, Billingham, Gary Nolan going for the Reds this
Todd
weekend.
Stottlemyre.
Excuse me, Todd. You know what? I ought to just bag this whole thing. Todd Stottlemyre.
You'll be all right.
Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, and we'll put that one to rest mercifully. Mel Stottlemyre. That's
Be the pitching coach.
That's different, dude. Yeah, we'll be all right. 1 ball, 1 strike to Joey Votto.
Stottlemyre could be a little bit. He didn't have overpowering stuff. Boy, was he some kind of competitor. Oh my goodness. Played with him in St. Louis. He was tough.
Speaking of St. Louis, their game with the Padres delayed. Cubs leading the Mets 1-0, bottom of the 5th. Marlins and Phillies tied at 1 in the 6th. Pirates leading the Brewers 2-1 in Pittsburgh, top of the 6th. Dodgers all over the Nationals 6-0 in D.C. top of the 5th. Cubs came in tonight 8 games clear of St. Louis in the National League Central. Votto lays off. 3 at-bats and 3 walks for Votto tonight. 4th walk overall given up by Tyrell Jenkins.
Gotta believe somewhere along the line that the Dodgers are in a bit of a quandary with Clayton Kershaw on the disabled list. You don't really know when he's going to come back or if he's going to come back. You don't know whether to make a trade to bolster your staff or to become sellers in this market.
Bruce first pitch swinging. Freeman's got it down to second. Back to Freeman. That's a double play. Tyrell Jenkins. It's out of the 5th. We are still tied at 2.
Ballpark knotted up 2-2 between the Braves and the Reds with the number 2 pick in the draft this past year. Nick Senzel out of Tennessee. Well, he's playing for the Dayton Dragons. Pretty good game last night. 4 for 5. He was a double away from the cycle. Had a home run, a triple, a couple of singles, 4 RBI, 2 runs, and a stolen base. I would say, Cowboy and Jim Day, that this young man is starting to get comfortable at low A Dayton. I would expect him to be moving up to Daytona shortly. Gentlemen?
Might as well. College hitter. We're not talking about an 18, 19-year-old.
Does not have a whole lot of head movement in that swing. Looks like he's very still, quick hands and short to the ball.
With Markakis. Votto's got it. Long underhanded toss to Reed. 1 out. So Cody Reed, you made, as we look at the replay here, you made a comment to me after he got out of the 5th in a 1-2-3 inning that seems to be settling in, and you were talking about velocity, the slider and the fastball, the difference.
Well, just there's more separation now than what we saw early in the ball game. He was overthrowing the slider early. It was at 90, 91. Now it's at 86, 87, and the fastball still has the velocity of 93, 94. And for a hitter, if everything is within 2 or 3 miles an hour of each other, it's much easier to make an adjustment as the pitch comes to the plate. Once you start to get that separation in velocity, you may be right on the fastball, but yet you see the slider and you're way out in front. You either hit it off your hands or you can't quite catch it at all.
Foul ball. Jumbo. Starting to crank it up in the Reds bullpen. Cody Reed's pitch count at 84 here in the 6th. And for Reed, particularly that strikeout of Freeman swinging to end the 5th. It's right when you made that comment, and it just seemed like that at bat, that pitch was the Cody Reed that the Reds are expecting in the future. And that pitch right there. Got Francoeur to chase on the heater.
Now this pitch is well up and out of the strike zone. But with 2 strikes and you've got a fastball hitter at the plate, he sees fastball come out of the hand. He's coming out of his shoes, and by the time the ball gets there, it's nowhere near the strike zone.
2 outs for Ender Inciarte.
See, that slider right there is money. You throw that pitch 86 miles an hour, that tells you where your best break is on the pitch, and it's late.
Inciarte late coming around on that.
I mean, that's the total definition of what I'm talking about. Slider slows his eyes down a little bit, and you bust a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in there, he can't get the bat head to it.
0-2 pitch. Diving stop by Kozar, doesn't have a play. Inciarte can run a bit, but Kozar gets to it, but in an infield single for Inciarte.
Got a little bit too much of the plate there with the 0-2 pitch. I think Reed wanted to go a little bit further in, and Inciarte, pretty good contact hitter on that pitch.
Well, the catcher Anthony Recker. Walk, flight out to right. Just getting his feet wet with the Braves. First start was on the 17th after basically being purchased from the Cleveland Indians. Tyler Flowers went on the disabled list. A.J. Pierzynski, long in the tooth. The Braves needed some catching help, and they got it in this guy, Recker, at least for the time being. That was a 90th pitch from Cody Reed. The most pitches he's thrown this season is 104, at least at the major league level. Came in start number 2, but it came in only 5 innings against San Diego here at Great American.
Well, the Reds would love for him to get this final out here in the 6th. And he'll probably exit the ball game with that. A little bit of feel good after this performance. A good changeup there, down and away from Anthony Recker. Recker looking fastball. The ball started on the plate just enough to entice the swing.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at first. Reed inside. Cody Reed residing in the land of the king of rock and roll, Memphis, Tennessee. Two pitch, runner on the move.
That was wicked.
A nasty pitch for Cody Reed. Could be the night for Reed. 2 runs unearned. Fridays at the ballpark. This Friday, cheer on your Reds when they take on the Diamondbacks for only $12. Plus, enjoy a post-game fireworks show presented by Hillard Lions. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Cody Reed, 6 innings in the books. 5 hits, 2 runs. They were unearned. Adam Duvall. Trying to crank it back up. He's been in a bit of a drought since coming out of the All-Star break. Walked in the first, was hit by a batter in the third. Overall, just 2 for 14, 143 average. Does have a double. Has struck out 4 times and walked twice.
Looks like the Braves have Mauricio Cabrera, that flamethrower, warming up in their bullpen. It's a cat that hit 100 103, 104.
103.8 miles per hour last night. And that would have been the velocity story of the night had not Aroldis Chapman cranked it up to 105.1 for the Yankees. Second time he's done that in his career. Duvall can get it going, and I know your first thoughts. You see a guy struggling coming out of the All-Star break who participated in the home run derby. Todd Frazier won it last year, struggled mightily coming out of the break. Is there a correlation? Who knows? Players will tell you no. Fly ball, center field, hit well, but the park will hold it. A long out.
Thought he had it for a moment. Sent Inciarte into a dead sprint back to the wall. Breaking ball. It spins a bit, but it had just enough downward action to keep Duvall from catching it right on the bat head. Looked like he caught it down the bat just about an inch off the sweet spot.
Shows you just how strong that guy is. He did not hit the sweet part of the bat and sent that out to the deepest part of the park. We're nearly out of here.
I think that's the thing you look for guys coming back out of that home run derby. Are they still shooting the ball up the middle and into the right center field gap? That's where Duvall really found his swing, especially early in the season. And that was the case right there. He didn't pull off that pitch. He stayed right on it.
Pops it up. Will they have room this time? They will not. The top of the Reds dugout. Phillips still dealing with a hairline fracture in his hand and a strained calf muscle.
Jenkins really pounding him inside in this at bat. Both of those foul balls over by the Reds dugout have been right on the hands of Brandon Phillips.
So Phillips reach up to his helmet. I get a lot of questions on social media. What's all that stuff all over his helmet? That would be pine tar.
That's how Craig Biggio's helmet used to look.
That hit him? Nope, foul ball off his bat.
That's the pitch that gave Phillips the hairline fracture to begin with. He starts forward. If that's another couple of inches inside, he's going to catch it on the wrist, but instead he caught it on the back end of the bat. Yeah, a lot of hitters don't want you to clean their helmets off. Don't touch my stuff.
Right.
Biggio is that way. Brandon is that way.
He'll start the season with a fresh new helmet. By this time of the season, it is what it is. And this one, he drives into center field over the head. One bounce over the wall, and a ground rule double for Brandon Phillips. One out into the bottom of the sixth.
Breaking ball, and again this ball spins right in the middle of the zone. You can see a little bit of downward tilt to the pitch, but it's not a snap of a break. It's just rolling, and the Reds are getting pretty good swings on it.
Tonight's Lowe's home field advantage. Team batting average with runners in scoring position at home. Look at your Reds. .313 average at home with runners in scoring position. Ahead of the Royals, Rangers, Cardinals, and Orioles in that category. Key being to a more successful second half is to have more runners in scoring position. Good average, but you want to have more opportunities. Therein would lie the difference in perhaps the win-loss record as we go into August and September. 1-0 pitch to Suarez. By the way, Suarez made that error, part of that two-run inning back in the second. Joel Luckham tells me that he's hitting now .292, which includes tonight, in games in which he's made an error at third base. So well above his overall average, which right now is sitting at .229. So when he makes an error, he tries to make up for it with his bat.
It seems that way.
And so far he's 2 for 2 tonight, a double and a single.
A couple of changeups to start the at bat from Jenkins, both out of the strike zone, and to come back in with the pitch there. Jenkins is not long for this ball game. He's about to throw pitch number 100, and he has not been out there for this many pitches at any point in time this year. He's been pitching out of the bullpen, only one spot start. That came against Philadelphia just 5 days ago.
He did throw 107 pitches in the minor leagues back on May 29th. He's about to deliver pitch number 100 of this game. Here it comes. Inside, 3-1.
The Braves now have Hunter Cervenka, a left-hander, warming in their bullpen, along with Mauricio Cabrera.
Three balls, one strike, one out. Phillips at second.
Changeup that had Suarez way out in front. He caught the top half of the baseball and drove it right into his front foot.
Phillips not getting an enormous lead out there, but he is the go-ahead run. Jenkins trying to keep him close. There goes Phillips to third. Suarez. Jenkins knocks it down, makes the play, and Phillips at third.
Another 3-2 changeup. Suarez hits this right off the end of the bat, a cue shot. You could see it spin out of the glove of Jenkins, but he doesn't panic. Picks up the ball with his bare hand, makes the throw to first. Now it'll be up to Cabrera if the Reds want to put a run on the board here.
Cabrera hitting in the 8th spot. Ivan De Jesus Jr. The on-deck circle for the Reds.
Jenkins' changeup has gotten better as the game has gone along. A tough time getting his off-speed pitches over the plate early. He's been able to throw that change with some consistency here lately.
Earlier we saw Jumbo Diaz warming up in the Reds bullpen. Michael Lorenzen has been throwing of late. Pitcher spot due up next. Even if the pitcher spot doesn't get up, probably the end of the night for that guy Cody Reed.
I would
say so looking at that demeanor.
He's laughing, got his.
Yeah. He is in I'm done mode. Cabrera shoots it the other way, but just foul.
So close. 3 straight changeups and then this fastball, a bit tardy. Almost got it over the bag.
Our good friend Ted Barrett right on the call.
Right on the line.
There's Ted. That's a man's man right there. Ted Barrett, former sparring partner with Evander Holyfield.
No, thank you.
Well, thank you indeed. Up the middle, but the Braves have Cabrera played perfectly. The Reds strand the go-ahead run. We are off to the 7th. It was Jay Bruce after a Joey Votto walk. Home run number 19 of the season for Bruce. A 2-run shot. He takes over the Reds' RBI lead with 66. Gave the Reds a 2-0 lead. In the second, though, the Braves got 2 unearned runs. A couple of errors in the inning, Suarez, and then that one by Jay Bruce. They tied the game off of 2 after Eric Ibar delivered the single. Cody Reed will not get his first big league victory, but he goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. They were unearned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts through 94 pitches, and that's where we stand, tied at 2 as we head to the 7th.
I think the most encouraging thing for Cody Reed in this ball game is he actually looked more comfortable in the 5th and the 6th inning than he did at any other point in time in the ball game.
Yep.
And I think once you get to that feeling, hopefully that'll be something that he can build off of.
New pitcher, Michael Lorenzen, flame-throwing righty. First pitch.
Where was that?
Well, I was just going to ask you.
It looked like it was right there.
Slightly inside on our Fox tracks. Eric Ibar, 2 for 2 nights so far. And this Reds bullpen, as we talked about, of late have turned the corner. They're riding a season-high 13-inning scoreless streak. Lorenzen trying to make that 14 here in the 7th. And a 4-pitch walk to Eric Ibar from Michael Lorenzen. Not the start he's looking for. We're ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game. It's Reds Live, the pregame edition. It's presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Tomorrow, it is a Reds Radio Network game only as far as Reds broadcasts go. Business Day special, 12:35 first pitch. Lucas Harrell will go against Anthony DeSclafani. As these two teams close out this 3-game set, the game will be seen on the MLB network. This is pinch hitter Jace Peterson, who pinch hit last night so quickly that we barely talked about it. Look out. Shoots one into the stands. Ibar just 2 stolen bases on the season. He's been caught stealing 4 times. One ball, 2 strikes. Ibar takes his lead from first. Jace Peterson lays off one in the dirt. Two pitch from Lorenzen. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for Reds pitching tonight.
Backdoor breaking ball from Lorenzen. See the ball go down right at the last second.
And now Gordon Beckham. 1 out and 1 on. High fly ball, left center field, and that one is out of here. 2-run home run, Gordon Beckham. And that scoreless streak for the bullpen goes bye-bye, and so does the tie game. Braves take a 4-2 lead.
Looked like a slider. Didn't quite have the same downward movement as the previous pitch for the strikeout. You can see the fingers to the slide, and this one is just a cement mixer. Just spinning.
So if the Reds want to make it 4 out of 5 coming out of the break, they'll have to be in comeback fashion. Garcia, ground ball to Phillips. 2 outs in the inning.
You watch Lorenzen, and he's got that big turn now before he comes to the plate, and he does that trying to give a little bit more deception to his delivery. But whenever you have that big turn, you really have to guard against the front shoulder flying out. You have to concentrate on staying on top of the ball and driving the ball to the plate, and you have to have a lot more balance on that back leg. If not, you have a tendency to pull the ball inside to a lefty or leave the ball flat running inside to a righty or away from a lefty. Because Lorenzen has never had any issues with control, but now with that big turn, not quite the same control in the zone as we saw earlier from him.
2 balls, 1 strike to Freddie Freeman, looking for his first hit of the night. Ground ball right at Votto. Lorenzen with the 3rd out, but damage done. 2-run home run, Gordon Beckham. The Braves lead by 2.
Today, the Heart and Hustle Award given to Zach Cozart. One player on every team in baseball gets this award. It's for active players who demonstrate a passion for the game of baseball and best embodies the value, spirits, and traditions of the game. The Major League Baseball winner will be announced November 15th. He said he is thrilled and honored to get this award.
When you're recognized by people that have been out there and played every day and they know what it takes to, go through the daily grind, not only physically but mentally, it makes it, pretty special. So I'm honored to be a part of it. I know previous winners to be in that same box, same boat. It's pretty cool.
Well, I tell you what, Jimmy Cowboy, he said that when he first heard of this award, when he was given it, he thought of Pete Rose, the hustle, what he embodied on the field, and that's what he tries to do every single day, and we all know what he does off the field. He is a perfect candidate for this award, and we hope he wins it. One from every team. November 15th, they will make the announcement who wins it from all of Major League Baseball. We sure hope it's Zach, guys.
Well, even if it's not, he's a pro's pro, and well deserving of the award. As you look at Tyler Holt, who's pinch hitting lead off the bottom of the 7th for Cincinnati. New pitcher on for the Braves as well, Dario Alvarez, the lefty.
He's been a strikeout machine. 23 strikeouts in 11 1/3 innings. Some pretty solid numbers. But going back to Cozart, not only getting the Heart and Hustle Award, I mean, that's an honor in itself, but coming back from reconstructive knee surgery and winning that award, that should tell you about the makeup of Zach Cozart.
Like Pick was talking about, it's voted on by former Major League players.
Yes, it is.
So that is just like, I mean, that's your peers. And the other thing that he talked about, when he was 9 years old, one of his best friends on the planet, Andy Semenuk, who is a state trooper in Tennessee, won the Charlie Hustle Award when they were 9 years old in a tournament that they were playing in, a Little League tournament in Iowa. And to this day, he says that Andy Semenuk displays that plaque, and the two go back and forth about how that plaque was really an MVP trophy.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different awards that you can win, whether it's batting titles, but Heart and Hustle just tells you a little bit about the individual, the type of person that he is and the type of player that he is, because this is a long grind for an everyday player. 162 games in 182 days.
2-2 pitch to Holt. And Brian Price was singing the praises of Cozart, and why not? He said that there's no one that's more excited after a victory in the clubhouse, and Price notices when they do win that no one's more excited than Zach Cozart, even if he goes 0 for 4.
That's the key. That should tell you something about Zach Cozart.
Zach talked about how tough not only this season but last season has been, because he's all about the W's. Some guys say it, some guys say it and mean it, and I guarantee you Zach Cozart means it.
Sometimes saying it and showing it are two different categories.
About that, Zach Cozart, first thing he thought of when they were questioning him before the game about this award, he said the first thing he thought was Pete Rose.
A lot of us grew up, that was the hustle mark you tried to attain, was Pete Rose.
Down swinging Tyler Holt here in the 7th. Alvarez just reared back, got him one.
It's the tough part about coming off the bench with being a pinch hitter. You're not always exactly sure where the outside part of the plate is, or the inside part for that matter. You're just trying to see ball and put the bat to it.
Now here's Cozart. Looks at a first pitch strike. might tell you a little bit about Cozart as well. We mentioned one of his best friends, Andy Simonik, who's a state trooper in Tennessee. He has Andy text him after every shift, because we know these are tough times right now for law enforcement officers. And he texts him after each shift and just to make sure that he's okay. That's how much Zach Cozart cares. I thought it was a touching story. One ball, 2 strikes to the Red shortstop. Reds trying to bite into a 4-2 deficit. Piece.
I would imagine that the Reds are going to be seeing Mauricio Cabrera, 100-mile-an-hour throwing right-hander, and this kid Dario Alvarez for some time. This kid here, outstanding breaking ball, mid-90s fastball from the left side.
2-2 pitch. And we're full.
Alvarez basically averages 2 strikeouts an inning. That's kidding.
Long run. The left fielder Francoeur, but he runs out of room. Cozart stays alive. Yeah, 2 strikeouts an inning. That's pretty much getting it done.
Take that.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up. Alvarez coming in to relieve Tyrell Jenkins, who went 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. Up down to short. High bar, long throw. Route number 2 here in the 7th. Tonight, Fox Sports Ohio has another spectacular ticket offer. Get on this, folks. You get view-level tickets for every game this weekend against the D-backs for just $10. Go to Reds.com/FSOhio and use the code FSOhio to get your tickets now. Billy Hamilton against the lefty will bat from the natural right-hand side for the first time tonight. 2 outs. Reds are getting a little bit of a break. They don't see Julio Teheran this series.
There's been some controversial talk in Atlanta about whether the Braves should trade Teheran or whether they should keep him and sign him to a multi-year contract.
I would imagine they're going to have to get overwhelmed on a deal to give him up.
Yeah, he's 25 years old.
Right. Just because of the age and what they're doing right now, he's certainly a guy you can build around. They're rebuilding at the moment.
They move into that new ballpark next year. They may not be in the schedule I think that they anticipated to begin with, where they would have the rebuild set and ready to go as they moved into the park.
Right.
But they've got some youngsters coming.
Hamilton way ahead of that one.
Hard breaking ball starts in the middle of the plate. Bottom falls out of it.
1-2 the count to Billy Hamilton. side, 2-2.
You just see the body language of Dario Alvarez. It just tells you, to me, this kid is awfully confident. He's thinking to himself, I know I'm getting this guy. It doesn't matter who's out there. Very similar to what we see when Raisel Iglesias comes into the ball game, attacking the strike zone with various pitches.
1-2-3 inning for Dario Alvarez, including 2 strikeouts.
Look back at the All-Star experience with Reds outfielders Jay Bruce and Adam Duvall. And what's been one of the secrets to Adam Duvall's success? The answer rests in his back pocket. It's a very inspiring story. Plus, Zach Cozart was finally immortalized with his own bobblehead. We'll hear what he thought of his mini-me. That's this week, tomorrow at 6 on Reds Weekly.
Looking forward to that, as I try to fill the shoes of one Doug Flynn, filling in on Reds Weekly.
You can do it.
If he's the glue, I'm, let's see, a sticky note.
You can be the Gorilla Glue.
There you go.
Just add a little water and here we go.
Jumbo Diaz on the pitch for the Reds. Since his recall on June 27th, Big Jumbo has a 1.80 ERA over 5 innings.
Seemed like that was the way things worked last year. Got in a little bit of trouble in the big leagues, started getting hit hard. They sent him down for a little bit. Once he got back up here, threw the ball much, much better.
Jumbo himself sporting the goggles nowadays. Went down to Louisville, said he was having that problem. Couldn't see the signs. Sent him to the eye doctor. And there you see the glasses. Nick Markakis 1 for 3 tonight. Singled back in the second, scored a run. Look at that. That foul ball. That's a lookout.
Bummer.
Hopefully everyone's all right. 0-2 pitch to Markakis.
I think those things were supposed to break.
I didn't either. It was awfully loud. Take a look.
Oh.
Markakis shoots it the other way for a base hit. Jumbo have to deal with the leadoff base runner. Now Jeff Francoeur.
The Reds have the middle of their order coming up in the bottom of this inning. Votto, Bruce, and Duvall. It's imperative for Jumbo Diaz to keep this at a 2-run deficit.
Had him fooled there. We've seen Francoeur chase a few times tonight. Been up there 3 times, 2 strikeouts. Jumbo ahead 0-2. There goes Francoeur chasing again. Strikeout number 7 on the night for Reds pitching.
Got him once on a breaking ball. You start this one just a little further out. And Francoeur going after it. I didn't like the 1-2 fastball to Markakis. That was an awfully good pitch right there. Back-to-back sliders. Throw over. What we've seen from Inciarte, both in the series in Atlanta and here in these first 2 ball games in Cincinnati, he's trying to take the fastball and shoot it the other way. The breaking ball, he's trying to pull it through the right side.
Ground ball to Phillips. This could be 2. Cozart, Votto, double play. Jumbo gets it done. Part of the order coming up for the Reds.
Presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
All right, let's see if the heart of the order could cut into this 4-2 lead. Votto, Bruce, and Duvall. Here to face Dario Alvarez on for a 2nd inning of work.
I think Alvarez was specifically brought on for for this purpose. Get yourself loose and ready to face Votto and Bruce in the lineup. Yeah, they've got a right-hander throwing in their bullpen now, so we'll see how it goes if Bruce or Votto reach and Duvall comes to the plate.
Alvarez is an interesting case. He's 27 years of age, and he was claimed off of waivers from the Mets back in May. 2014 and 2015, he pitched in only 10 games for the Mets. But you were impressed with what you saw last year.
There's no doubt that his stuff is undeniable, but I can see a little bit of probably why he had difficulty with the Mets, because he's not consistent around the strike zone.
Strike called on the 3-0 pitch. 3 balls, 1 strike to Votto.
He's one of those pitchers that when you're rebuilding, you take a chance on. Let's see if we can refine his mechanics, see if we can't change his mental aspect.
Votto into right center field and a base hit. A good start to the 8th for the Reds. Jay Bruce steps in. And he's the subject of our Volkswagen drive of the game. Back in the first off of Tyrell Jenkins. Gave the Reds a 2-0 lead. It's 19th of the season. While Joey Votto was aboard. See if history can repeat itself with Votto at first and Bruce at the dish. Albeit this time Bruce facing a lefty. Way inside.
Right now for Jay Bruce, his patience will be tested, as Alvarez seems to be effectively wild at this point. You don't want to go after a pitch that's borderline unless Alvarez can get ahead in the count.
We've seen Alvarez once in his career, 0 for 1. Grounder to Freeman. Could be another 3-6-3 double play, and it is. That is a big double play for Dario Alvarez and the Braves.
Yeah, 1-0 breaking ball. Now that's exactly what Alvarez wanted. A swing, get it on the ground, and now Snitker out to have a right-hander come on to face Adam Duvall.
Brian Snitker, the interim skipper for the Braves, takes the ball from the lefty. It's our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Be a part of Super Saturdays. Thanks to Fox Sports Ohio, the first 25,000 fans will get a Reds cap. Reds and D-backs. You can see it for just $12. 513-381-REDS for tickets or visit reds.com.
Chris Withrow, right-hander. Been awfully good since coming off the disabled list. His last 15 ball games, 14 have been scoreless.
.38 ERA overall, 27 years of age, born in Austin, Texas. He was a high pick, 20th pick overall. 07 draft as Duvall rips one up the middle, a base hit. So once again, the tying run will come to the plate here in the 8th for the Reds.
Fastball middle in. See the ball run back to the plate. Actually, it was middle. And Duvall stays right on it, shoots it right back up the box.
The tying run at the plate represented in second baseman Brandon Phillips. Last time up, ground rule double. First pitch to Brandon, way outside. Phillips 0 for 3 in his career versus Withrow. And the 1-0. Popped up. Head to the 9th. Braves up by 2. Brought to you by Kroger. Stop by your neighborhood Kroger to save big store-wide. Great food, low prices at Kroger. And by Toyota. For over 30 offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places. 9th inning from GABP. Braves up by 2. Jumbo Diaz stays into the game. Begin his 2nd inning of work, and he'll do battle with Anthony Recker. While I have a moment, if I can take one personal moment. My mother, Patricia, has a birthday tomorrow. We are not on the air tomorrow. Mom, happy birthday. I love you. Thanks for putting up with me all these years.
So your mom's name is Patricia?
Indeed.
Mine too.
Really?
But her birthday's not till October.
Well, happy early birthday to your mom, Patricia. know my mom's watching out there. She's die-hard. I mean die-hard. And it doesn't have to be me sitting in this chair.
See, down in the South, if your name is Patricia, they call you Patsy.
I haven't heard Patsy. I haven't heard her called Patsy. She's an Ohio gal. One pitch to Record. High ball right field. He's drifting back. One out. Now Jumbo will deal with the switch hitting Eric Ibar. He's putting together a pretty good night. And it hasn't always been that way this season for Ibar. Follow the Braves, you know there's been some disappointments in there. Ibar would be one of those. Inciarte would be one of those. Not that they were expecting anything as a team. As Cozart goes to his left, makes the play. Not that they were expecting them to set the world on fire, because they're openly in rebuild mode, and big time in rebuild mode. But the veterans they do have in the lineup, they did expect a little more.
Yeah, I don't think the Braves expected Ibar to hit right at 200 and not play the defense that he's playing now. He's had a tough time in the field. He's had a tough time at the plate. Not what they expected when they signed him.
Pinch hitter A.J. Pierzynski. We saw pinch hit last night. Delivered a double. A.J. Pierzynski been around the block a time or two.
Pierzynski has an active 7-game hitting streak. Some of those hits have been like this, where you come in for one at bat, as he did last night. You got to get a hit to keep it alive.
Now 39 years of age. A.J. Pierzynski.
So that's amazing to me for a catcher. You would think all of that squatting and all of that movement behind the plate, and how much you get beat up as a catcher, even with all that gear. Your knees would blow out.
You don't think catching is tough? If you're watching at home right now, get into that catcher's position and sit there for about 5 minutes.
I mean, you would think that your feet would go numb. You throw as many pitches as all of the pitchers do. Maybe not as hard.
And Suarez makes the play. So his hitting streak comes to an end, barring anything unforeseen. Last chance for the Reds. for our Miller Time moment, brought to you by Miller Lite. Cody Reed settled into the game, and in the 6th, 2 strikeouts. Francoeur and Anthony Record in the 6th. Jeff Brantley, I know you liked what you saw in innings 5 and 6 from Reed, and he walked off the mound with a good feeling.
Yeah, you could see the deep breath there. It looked like he was controlling his adrenaline, and in response to that, controlling his mechanics, making much better pitches. He looked a lot more comfortable in the last 2 innings, and you hope that he'll be able to take that into his next start. Threw the ball awfully well here tonight.
Last chance for the Reds, and they'll have to do damage against Jim Johnson, big righty. Eugenio Suarez leading off for Cincinnati. Suarez, Cabrera, pinch hitter.
Johnson's only allowed 2 runs in his last 13 ball games.
This Braves team trying to improve their road record to 19 and 25. The only reason I bring that up is because they have a better road record than they do a home record. For Brian Snitker's club, it has been dismal at home. They are just 14 and 36 at home. And the worst record in the Turner Field era. Suarez sends one down the right field line. It's fair. He's going, nope, he's going to hold up. I was going to say, if he's going to go to second base, he had better hurry. That ball ricocheted right off the short part of the wall, right beyond the tarp out there. Played nicely by Markakis, but a leadoff single for Suarez.
Fastball running back to the outside corner. We've seen Suarez take that outside fastball the other way twice tonight. Seeing the ball awfully well and executing his swing to perfection here tonight.
All right, tying run at the plate now for the 3rd time in the last 2 innings for the Reds, and it's Ramon Cabrera. Cabrera looking for his first home run of the season. What a time it would be right here. Pitch. Left field. Falls for a base hit. Suarez making the turnaround second. He'll go into 3rd, and Cabrera sliding into second base with a double.
Well, there they are. 2nd and 3rd. Tucker Barnhart coming to the plate. Hit this one off the end of the bat. Boy, did he put it in a good spot.
The Reds in business here in the 9th.
And especially with this guy coming to the plate, because he has been raking with runners in scoring position.
There you see Jose Peraza. He's into the game to pinch run for Cabrera at second base. Peraza represents the tying run. Barnhart, a .268 hitter, 3 home runs, 21 runs driven in. First pitch from Johnson. Ground ball. This will score a run. The play is to first, and the Reds climb within a run, and Peraza's at third base. So Zach Cozart will step in, and a fly ball deep enough will tie this game.
Braves shorten up their infield. Really cuts down on the range of any infielder if it's a hard ground ball. Trying to cut down Peraza at the plate.
First pitch to Zach. Inside, ball 1.
Seen many times with Johnson, that split finger will bounce out in front of the plate. If you've got Peraza at third, he's got speed. He's got a chance just like Billy Hamilton did the other night.
1-0 pitch. Had him fooled.
Big curveball. Cozart goes after it.
Cozart 0 for 1 in his career off of Johnson. There you see the tying run, Peraza. Round ball. Fair down the left field line, and this game is tied. Cozart's digging for second base, and he is out. Not a great base running decision, but he delivers the game-tying RBI.
Hard sinking fastball. He hooks it right over the third base bag. But you have to remember who's in left field, and that's Jeff Francoeur, and he has got a cannon for an arm. May not have quite the range that he had in his younger days, but he can flat still throw it. And he gets to this ball quickly. It caromed right to him, and he put the throw right on the money.
Francoeur, a career 132 outfield assists. He has always been known for that cannon. He leads the majors in outfield assists since the start of the 2005 season. That was his major league debut. Cue shot by Hamilton. Gonna have to hurry, forget about it. All right. Here we go. Maybe a little Billy ball.
And Johnson does not hold runners well at all. Right off the end of the bat. Ibar didn't even make a throw.
Votto coming to the plate. Brian Snitker is not going to let Johnson have a chance to get Votto. Lefty coming into the game. It is Hunter Cervenka. Game on the line when we come back. Scored 2 here in the 9th. Billy Hamilton on first base. Joey Votto strolling to the plate, and the new pitcher, lefty Hunter Cervenka.
32 strikeouts in 27 innings, only 15 hits, and he has been a left-handed specialist. A lot of breaking balls, so that should give Hamilton a chance to take second base and get himself in scoring position.
Cervenka's never faced Votto. Billy with 3 stolen bases last night. Team leading 27 overall on the season. He's been caught only 4 times. Over there again. Cervenka, 26 years of age, born in Baytown, Texas.
Charlie Corbell's hometown. Guy I used to play with in the Giants organization.
Came up the hard way, a 27th round pick by the Red Sox back in 08. Well, got Billy caught. Still got to hurry to make the play, and he's out. Free baseball. Reds tie it. We're off to extras. Billy Hamilton. Cervenka fooled him, and fooled him badly.
You notice when Freddie Freeman took that throw, he moved towards the throw to try to cut off the timing to get the ball to second base. If you stand on the bag and wait for the throw, that split second could have made a difference, especially with a speedster like Hamilton.
On for the 10th is lefty Tony Cingrani. Last 17 games for Cingrani, 18 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.93 ERA. He's dealing with the top of the order here in Gordon Beckham. Last time up, delivered a 2-run home run that gave the Braves a 4-2 lead. Bounced it. Tucker Barnhart has remained into the game. He's behind the plate catching Tony Cingrani. Two balls, one strike.
A leadoff walk by Michael Lorenzen back in the 7th inning came back to hurt him, and you do not want to walk this guy here to start this inning.
Beckham has faced Cingrani one time, 0 for 1. For just picking up the game, Cody Reed went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. They were unearned. Michael Lorenzen gave up a 2-run home run that Cowboy just talked about, and a grounder at Votto. 1 out. Seen some pretty nice plays by the Reds first baseman tonight.
Joey Votto is throwing some leather out there today. That is the 3rd awfully good play that he's made. He made this play look awfully easy, but it did take a funny bounce as the ball got to him. A very short hop. Caught it right up in his hip. And the 2 plays he made earlier saved runs because those would have been doubles down the line.
Still would like to see him take a step over and get in front of that ball. Nonetheless, a nice play by Votto. Now Adonis Garcia. Ground ball. Diving attempt by Suarez to no avail, and a base hit for Garcia.
Garcia seems to be the type of hitter. You throw him a fastball and leave it over the plate, he's going to put it in play with some authority. The hits that we have seen him get here in just these first 2 ball games, all on the fastballs. Breaking ball, not so much.
And now Freddie Freeman. Most part in the series, the Reds have taken care of business.
Oh, they got him.
Pickoff play, and they got him.
Somebody was asleep at first base. Garcia did not even have a 3-step lead, and Cingrani picked him off. You talking about being surprised? Look at him; he's still messing
putting his glove on
with his batting gloves, and he looks to the plate as Cingrani came up. Adonis Garcia was looking to the plate. It looks like Brian Snitker is going to come out and argue about a balk from Cingrani.
Cingrani toes the line each and every time he goes over to first base. He's got one of the best moves for a lefty in the game. This is an automatic ejection normally, and there it is. Angel Hernandez tosses Brian Snitker. And I think Brian Snitker had that in mind all along. But Cingrani toes the line. He is right on the edge of a balk seemingly every time. One of the best moves, though, for a lefty.
Well, the best moves often are right on the edge. But there is no doubt Cingrani was moving towards first. The step was towards first. And I think Brian Snitker just trying to protect his player that gets the base hit and then gets picked off with about a 2-step lead.
Yep. Freddie Freeman was trying to make this another Braves lead with 1 swing of the bat right there. A 1 pitch. Freeman, a .333 hitter off of Cingrani, 2 for 6.
Yeah, amazingly for Freddie Freeman, he has hit left-handed pitching better than right-handed pitching here in 2016.
Indeed he has. This Braves team overall has struggled average-wise against lefties, but coming in, Freeman a .321 hitter against left-handed pitchers. That's the 4th highest mark in the majors among qualifying left-handed batters. 1-2.
The best place to get Freeman is right in on his hands. He will chase that pitch. The ball out over the plate. That's the pitch he can drive. You watch Freeman, and it looks like just a slight upper body gradually moving towards the plate as the ball comes plateward. So that pitch outside actually looks like it's middle.
Swing and a miss. Reds can win it in the bottom of the 10th. Bottom of the 10th. Heart of the order coming up for the Reds. They'll face Hunter Cervenka. It's Votto, Bruce, and Duvall. Votto was at the plate last inning when Billy Hamilton was picked off to end the 9th after the Reds tied it with 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th. First pitch to Joey. Outside corner, strike 1. Votto has 10 walk-off hits here at Great American Ballpark, the most in the park's history. Second most in all of baseball since 2008. He has reached safely in 7 straight plate appearances. Love to make it 8. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Opponent's not hitting well off him average-wise, particularly those lefties. That's what Cervenka's on to do. Votto serves it into left field, a base hit. The winning run is on. 8 straight plate appearances reaching.
That's the part that confuses me about the shift. You shift your shortstop up the middle, and then you throw a breaking ball that's off the plate away. And a great hitter like Votto knows where the infielders are. He has a pretty good idea that you're going to go away from him with a breaking ball with 2 strikes, and he just serves it right into left field.
Jay Bruce is the only Reds player that has faced Cervenka before. He's 0 for 2. Winning run at first. Bottom of the 10th, nobody out. Ground ball. Freeman. We see another one of these. Nope. Throws it away. In fact, that goes into the Reds dugout.
Bruce will get second base.
Bruce will head down to second base. So Votto out at second. Bruce reaches on the fielder's choice, and the air allows him to go to second base. So the winning run in scoring position.
It's the 3rd consecutive at bat that Bruce has hit the ball to Freddie Freeman. The first 2 resulted in a 3-6-3 double play, and with a on-line throw there from Ibar, they may have had it then.
Would have been the 3rd 3-6-3 double play that Jay Bruce would hit into. Now Terry Pendleton, who's now the bench coach for the Braves, was managing the rest of this game after Brian Snitker gets tossed. Takes the ball from Hunter Cervenka. And a reliever coming into the game. A pitching change. We'll tell you about it on the other side. Winning run at second base. Bottom of the 10th, 1 out. Adam Duvall at the plate. New pitcher is Mauricio Cabrera, the flamethrower.
You have to feel like you're going to get a fastball here in this at bat. It'll probably be well over 100 miles an hour.
He threw 103.8 miles per hour last night in the 8th inning. 101. First pitch, a ball to Adam Duvall.
This is where Duvall, short and quick to the baseball, let the velocity of the pitcher create the power. You don't have to do it when somebody's throwing the ball that hard. You just got to get the bat head to the zone.
Bruce takes his lead from second. Time call.
That error by Ibar could prove rather large, putting a runner in scoring position, and threw that ball into the dugout on the potential double play ball.
One-0 pitch. Had him way out in front. Set him up nicely.
Well, this ball starts in the zone. It's a breaking ball. It does back up. But if you're Adam Duvall, you're looking in the zone. You're looking in one spot. And you're not looking for that pin.
One ball, one strike. Hold him again. Back-to-back breaking balls. Cabrera's ahead 1-2.
That's the benefit of being able to throw the ball as hard as Cabrera does. When you can start a breaking ball that looks like it's going to be in the strike zone and then it goes straight down, the hitter has to commit. You've got a split second to make a judgment. And if it looks like a fastball, you better come on with it.
One-two pitch. Outside at 102. You can hear the ooh and awe from the crowd. Radar gun here in the stadium is different than the one that you're seeing on your screen. A little more juiced up in the stadium. That one registered at 104 on the stadium gun. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
All depends on the angle of the gun as it points out to the mound. If it's slightly towards the third base bag or the first base bag, it'll take a little bit off of the speed. If you're directly behind the catcher, you'll get that reading, and usually it's a little bit harder.
I mean, how much difference is it between 104 and 102?
2 miles an hour.
You know, that is the brilliance.
It's that Mississippi math.
Well, you know what? I was told math was not part of this job. I'm going to stick with that. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Winning run at second base. Strike 3 called. And a big strikeout for Mauricio Cabrera.
Good pitch, bottom of the strike zone. Started both the breaking balls down there. And I would imagine for Adam Duvall, anything that low, he had made up his mind he was going to take and not swing at that pitch again. And he blisters one in there that stays true.
2 outs into the 10th. And that was only the 5th strikeout for the Reds tonight. Now Brandon Phillips, 2 outs, ground ball. There to get it is Beckham. Reds strand the winning run. We are off to the 11th on Fox Sports Ohio. All season long, Jack Leake's beef jerky. Feed your wild side. 11th inning. 4-4 tie. Braves and Reds. Game 2 of a 3-game series. With a win, the Reds would take their second straight over the Braves, guarantee themselves of a series victory. And it would be 4 out of 5 coming out of the All-Star break if the Reds can win. Tony Cingrani on for a second inning of work. He'll face Markakis, Francoeur, and Inciarte here in the top of the 11th. Ball 1. Two for 4 is Nick Markakis tonight. 0 for 2 in his career off of Tony Cingrani. Make that 1 for 3. Leadoff base hit the other way. Go ahead run on at first base. We were talking earlier about how dismal as Brian Price is out of the bullpen, or out of the dugout, excuse me. He is about to make a double switch.
Blake Wood.
It looks like the righty Blake Wood will enter this game. And we'll go to break as Blake Wood comes in with the go-ahead run on first base. Go-ahead run at first base. The Reds have made a double switch. Ivan De Jesus Jr. comes into the game. He's playing second base. He'll hit in the 8th slot. And on is righty Blake Wood, who got himself out of a jam last night.
Yeah, he had runners at first and third base in last night's ball game. The first batter that he faced was the man that he's facing right now, Jeff Francoeur. Struck him out. Then faced Inciarte, a line out to third, and then struck out Recker to get out of that inning. So he's facing the same exact batters he faced last night.
I said he got out of a jam. It was not a jam in which he created himself. He came on to relieve Brandon Finnegan last night and inherited that first and third situation and got out of it like Cowboy said.
And a spectacular job, as the Reds had a 5-1 lead. The big home run by Adonis Garcia. You give up those 2 runs, it's a 1-run ball game, and Wood just shut him down.
Francoeur punches it into right field, a base hit. Going on to third base is Markakis, and the Braves are in business.
Gets a fastball down and away. Great piece of hitting by Jeff Francoeur. But Francoeur has always been an awfully good fastball hitter.
Now Ender Inciarte with the go-ahead run at third. Inciarte faked the bunt. Suarez with a tough task at third, playing in, and also will try to hold that runner on as best he can at third base.
Back-to-back times that Inciarte showed bunt. This time he tries to bunt it towards the first base bag. Almost trying to create a safety squeeze. You bunt the ball to the left side hard enough. The runner at third base can walk home.
Brian Price is wondering if that ball hit him out of the batter's box, is what I'm assuming. Eugenio Suarez was certainly hollering in that regard. It hit the ball at the bat twice. Boom. Boom.
Brian may have had an argument right there.
I think so. Suarez was calling for it immediately. This will get the run in. Hamilton's got it. Tag up from third base Markakis, and a tag up from first base, and they got the runner Francoeur at second. But the run does score, and the Braves retake the lead. Sacrifice fly RBI. The putout goes 8-4. Nice throw by Hamilton, and I'm not sure what Francoeur was thinking.
I think that Francoeur was thinking that because Hamilton was backpedaling, he may not be thinking that he would tag. But I don't know that anybody is going to catch Billy Hamilton sleeping.
Nope.
Whether it be on the base paths or in the outfield or at the plate.
Is Hamilton's 7th outfield assist this season, tied for 4th most among center fielders. 2 outs in the inning. Anthony Recker.
It's only the 3rd run that Lakewood has inherited that has scored. He's been awfully good in these situations.
Reds led this one 2-0. Braves tied it at 2. Braves led 4-2. Reds tied it at 4 in the bottom of the 9th. Now the Braves retake the lead here in the 11th. Count is 2-2 to Anthony Recker. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Grounder to Suarez. Inning over. The Reds need another rally. Down by 1. Herrera open to close it down for the Braves. And he'll face the bottom 3rd of the order for the Reds. Suarez, DeJesus Jr., and Tucker Barnhart. Suarez putting together a pretty good night offensively. 3 for 4, a couple of singles, a double. Scored a run. How about that reaction? I guess you'll get that when the flamethrower's on the mound and nearly pegged you.
It's one of those reactions where you're like,
ooh,
let me shake that out of.
Shake that off now. In extra innings. RBI and a triple for Suarez. To take any type of hit here. Not on that swing. 1-2. Laid off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jesus Jr. waiting in the wings. Two on the way. Fly ball. Right field. 1 out.
Well, you've got a guy throwing as hard as Mauricio Cabrera, very similar to Chapman. Probably going to have 1 pitch in the at-bat that you can hit, if you're lucky.
First at-bat of the game for Ivan De Jesus Jr. Inside. Just like Suarez, Cabrera grabs a purpose pitch to start it off. Or you're a flamethrower. Why not?
There's nothing wrong with making the hitter uncomfortable.
Swing and a miss.
So that's the thing about what Cabrera is doing out there now. Even when the pitch is below 100 miles an hour and it's in the center of the plate, it's got sink to it. We used to say it was not fair when Chapman would throw that changeup. That sinking fastball at 99 miles an hour. Not real fair either.
If you blink, you miss it on the heater.
And this kid is smooth, very similar to Aroldis. It's not flying all over the place. It's nice and easy and great velocity, great move.
Plays off. Run the count full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Payoff pitch. Bond stays alive. Tucker Barnhart on deck.
I wonder if hitters come to the plate with a guy throwing this hard and you get to 3-2 and you think, I'm going to take this and I'm going to walk right here.
See what he does. Here comes. Got a piece.
Cabrera's keeping the ball down as well. Another hard sinking fastball.
7 pitch at bat so far. It's down by a run. Bottom of the bottom. Let's try that again. Sorry, folks. First day with the new tongue. Bottom of the 11th.
You got it, baby.
1 out. Three-two pitch. Up the middle. Off the mound. I cannot believe how high that ball went off the mound and to the shortstop.
Did that ball hit Cabrera or did it hit the hole right in front of the rubber?
Take a look.
Yeah, hit his hit his left foot.
Ow.
Yeah, hit him right in the side of his landing foot.
Scored a base hit for DeJesus. The tying run aboard. Tucker Barnhart came into this game as a pinch hitter in the 9th and delivered an RBI ground out. Pulled the Reds within a run. Barnhart faced Cabrera last night. Flied out to left.
Could really use a breaking ball in the dirt, something that could get away from the catcher record. Get DeJesus to second base.
Well, one pitch. Barnhart shoots it the other way to left. But there is Francoeur. And the Reds are down to their final out. Zach Cozart representing the final hope for the Redlegs. He also faced Cabrera last night, struck out swinging. First pitch to Zach. One ball, no strikes.
And even when Cabrera hangs a breaking ball as he did there, you have to be so geared up and so ready for that high velocity fastball. You can't pull the trigger on the breaking ball.
Strike call.
That's a good pitch right there.
One pitch to Cozart. Here it comes. Cabrera ahead 1-2.
This is where he had Cozart last night. He went with that hard slider down and away, and it was a good one.
Mauricio Cabrera trying to close the door for the Braves. Cozart trying to be the hero. Swing and a miss. And Mauricio Cabrera earns a 5-4 victory for the Braves as Atlanta ties up this 3-game set, a game apiece, with the rubber game set for tomorrow afternoon here at Great American Ballpark. 5-4 is your final in 11. Stay with us. We'll put a capper on this one. Reds Live, the post-game edition, right around the corner.